What's up, everybody? It is Andrew here for Apple Insider. Thank you for hanging out today. Once more, we are talking about Apple's latest 27-inch iMac, but we're not reviewing it, we're not benchmarking it. What we really want to talk about is how Apple's latest iMacs are comparing to Apple's kind of under-updated iMac Pro. The iMac Pro was debuted in 2017. It's been 3 years without a substantial update to this machine. Now, Apple did drop a lower core option, making the 10-core model a bit cheaper, but really, that is not going to sell it. And if you are looking at the base iMac Pro, you might as well look at the new 27-inch iMacs. Because if you configure these guys properly, this is going to be an absolute beast of a machine, besting Apple's Pro iMac. So in this video, we are going to talk about comparing a roughly $5,000 iMac against Apple's 2017 iMac Pro. And while both of them are still available, you should absolutely not buy the entry-level iMac Pro, and you should buy a spec'd out 27-inch iMac. So again, for this video, there are a bunch of different customizations, configurations that you can do when picking these two machines. But we're going to be looking at that $5,000 iMac Pro, and we're going to basically custom build an iMac, a 27-inch iMac 2020 version to compete with that iMac Pro. So they're both going to come in at roughly $5,000, but at the end, we'll show you how you can actually get one of these guys, a 27-inch iMac, that is more powerful than the iMac Pro for like $1,100 less. So let's go ahead and just spin this up. So first things first, just basic kind of overview of the machines. Both of these guys are 27-inch displays. Both of them are 5K displays, same resolution, same brightness, same support of the P3 wide color gamut. They're almost identical in terms of the display. The only difference is that the 27-inch iMac back here can actually be outfitted with the nano-etched glass. So that's basically an anti-reflective coating, and we have tried this on Apple's Pro Display XDR. We are huge fans of this. So we elected, again, keeping it in the same price range, we included that in our configuration to get that nano-etched glass on ours. The iMac also comes with True Tone built in. Now, creative pros may not like this because it does tilt the color of your display. It's going to basically make the display match the room that you're in, so it's easier on your eyes, easier to read for long periods of time. But creative pros may not like that the color balance is shifting on their display. So that can be turned off if you want, but for a lot of people out there, True Tone is definitely a benefit. So you can get True Tone on here built in, and of course you can extra pay $500 for the nano-etched glass, which is not an option at all on that iMac Pro. As far as the ports go, really similar here, so we can outfit our 27-inch iMac with the same 10 gigabit Ethernet, so 10 gig Ethernet on both of these guys. Both of them have 4 USB-A ports, but the big difference here is that the iMac Pro does come with 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports, whereas our 27-inch iMac only has 2. So if you want more Thunderbolt 3, then you do have to go with the iMac Pros. But the thing about Thunderbolt 3 is it can be daisy-chained, so you can have a ton of external drives, external storage, graphics cards, whatever, all daisy-chained through Thunderbolt 3. So for a lot of people, the additional ports are not going to be a big deal. You could also get a Thunderbolt 3 dock or a USB-C dock and add additional I/O that way. So the biggest difference in I/O, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all that's going to be the same. Really, that difference is just 2 additional Thunderbolt 3 ports on the iMac Pro. But other than that, we've got these things outfitted with the same ports. Moving to the internals of these machines, the power that drives them, the processors. So the new iMacs, the 27-inch iMac, can be outfitted with a 10-core, 10th gen, 3.6 gigahertz i9 processor. This thing is a beast, and the iMac Pro is still only coming with that 3 gigahertz Xeon W processor. So that's kind of a server workstation processor, which is using the EEC memory rather than just GDDR or DDR4 as we're seeing with our iMac. So it's using different memory there, but most people are not going to notice that. So in terms of raw power, we're actually getting much more power on that consumer level processor in our 27-inch iMac than we are with the 2017 iMac Pro. As far as Geekbench results go, the 27-inch iMac is actually getting a 1420 and an 11,000 versus a 1125 and a 9480 on the single and multi-core for the iMac Pro. Those are some substantial performance gains on the 27-inch iMac. So that newer machine coming in with more powerful, it can also turbo boost higher than the iMac Pro can. It's definitely just, for most people, it's going to be a more powerful processor. I know what you guys are thinking. Don't even dare to throw it up in the comments yet. You're wondering about the thermal design and what that performance is going to be with thermal throttling on the iMac, because the iMac actually has a different cooling system, a different thermal design than the iMac Pro. So I know what you're thinking. You're worrying that this thing is going to just overheat, and even though it's a same 10 core i9 processor, it's just not going to perform well because it's going to overheat so easily. Well, it actually only has 125 watts TDP compared to 140 watts TDP on the iMac Pro, so it uses less power and it puts out less heat than the Xeon W does on the iMac Pro. And the new iMacs actually have a little bit of a change in design on the inside. There's a little bit more space. There's a big gap where the hard drive used to be before switching to solid state storage. So it's a little bit roomier, and we haven't done all of our thermal testing yet, but for the most part, it should not be nearly as much of an issue. You're still going to get better performance regularly than the iMac Pros. Storage-wise, both of these can be equipped with varying degrees of SSDs on the inside. We're trying to keep things roughly on par. We're trying to hit that same price point with our iMac. So we were actually able to upgrade the internal SSD to a full 2 terabytes compared to 1 terabyte on the other end. If you went for less storage, your iMac would be cheaper. But we upgraded to a 2 terabyte module to put it double the storage of that base iMac Pro. So another benefit of going with the 27-inch iMac over that iMac Pro. So what about memory? Well, if you need EEC memory, you know you do. Most people out there do not need the EEC memory that's coming on the iMac Pro. So really it's just talking about how much you need. The iMac, the 27-inch iMac, actually has user replaceable RAM, so you can go ahead and pick it up at the 8 gig configuration and upgrade it on your own. But to keep things on par, we upgraded to the same 32 gigs, so both of our machines in compare have 32 gigs of RAM. For graphics, the iMac Pro is coming with a Radeon Pro Vega 56 with 8 gigs of HBM2 memory. The new 27-inch iMac comes with a Radeon Pro 5700 XT with 16 gigs of GDDR6 memory in our configuration. Based on the benchmarks we've seen, the Radeon Pro 5700 XT in our 27-inch iMac is blowing away that Radeon Pro Vega 56, and that's with only 8 gigs of GDDR6 memory to go along with it. So in our case, we're upgrading it to 16 gigs of GDDR6 memory, so it's going to be even better than the benchmarks we've already seen out there compared. So graphics-wise, the 27-inch iMac 2020 is going to be for sure better than the entry-level model iMac Pro. So with all of those upgrades, we're upgrading to a 2 terabyte storage, we're upgrading to 32 gigs of RAM, we're adding that nano-etched glass, the 10 core 10th gen i9 processor, all of that together, that actually puts us at, I think, the exact same price as the iMac Pro. Both sit at $5,000. But if you take off the nano-etched glass, keep the displays the same, you don't need the anti-reflective coating, take that off, that sheds $500. Take off $600 for the RAM upgrade, stick with the default 8 gigs and upgrade it on your own. Doing it on your own, you can save, I think, over $2,000. Watch our video on how to do that and save some serious change. But if you leave off the RAM upgrade and do it on your own, that takes another $600 off. That is $1,100 less. You can get a 27-inch iMac that has better graphics, a faster processor, with as much RAM as you want to put in there because it's upgradable by the user, more storage, just across the board, a better machine for $1,100 less than the iMac Pro. So it's a hands down no-brainer. If you were looking at a 27-inch iMac or you're looking at the entry-level iMac Pro, do not get the iMac Pro. Go with the 27-inch iMac. If you want something more powerful, sure, look at other configs of the iMac Pro. But for most people out there who are comparing those two, the entry-level iMac Pro, high-end 27-inch iMac, the choice is pretty clear. The iMac Pro is definitely on death's door at the moment, has not seen an upgrade in some time. The new 27-inch iMac is for sure an iMac Pro killer. If you want to grab your own of the iMac Pro or a 27-inch iMac, you can find the best deals at the links down below in the description. And I want to know what you guys think. Let me know which one you prefer over on Twitter at Andrew_OSU.